and I'm literally just clicked record just in case there's a backup, so you can always go and rewatch this. Okay, so yeah, so I've got a lace I'll be using today, just a random one that I found, just this one here, and it's got a nice little scallop edge there. So what I've done is I've gone and scanned that into my printer and got the image here. So I've got the image ready. So what I'm going to do, I've got Photoshop open, oops, and I'm just going to drag that into Photoshop. So let's what I'm going to start doing is just get it all lined up, and what I really want to do is make sure I've got a straight edge that's nice and horizontal and that we can get the repeat going. So if you can see in here, we've kind of got one flower here and then another flower there, and so if you look at this edge here, we've got the flower starts there and then it starts again here, so that is one complete repeat of this. So this edge right there to that edge right there, that is one repeat. So I'm just going to kind of get rid of the background first. Oops, let's rasterize that. Ooh. Just get rid of that background, and then I don't want all this kind of white bits in the background, so what I'm going to do is go and select colour range. Because the background is all white, this will come up and you can just select the white, and all of the bits that are white on here are the bits that are selected, so that looks okay to me. Yeah, that looks fine. And then it's selected all of the white bits, like it's basically selected the background, so I'm going to click delete and have a look at that. It might help to actually just like include something in the background, like just draw a square, make that, oh that's not how you make it red. Let's just use this colour, it's already on there. Okay, so this little bit needs to be removed. I'm just going to use the eraser for that. Oh, that's not the eraser. And just clean that up. Okay. So what I need to do now is make sure that this top edge is completely straight. So I'm just going to line it up with the actual kind of artboard here. Rotate that. And try and get that as perfect as I can. And then I go to the bottom as well. I'm not going to rotate this now because then that's going to affect this. So what I'm going to do is hold down Control and drag this, and it basically distorts the image. Okay. So I'm just going to double check that top edge because we distorted it, and just make sure that that's still perfect. I'm just going to bring it down a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Okay, so now what I can do is just find that repeat. So what I'm going to do is, let's start with this. What I'm doing is I'm finding this flower. I'm going to use that as kind of a point for the repeat. So I'm going to delete all of this, select the right layer first, and then do the same. So I'm going to find the beginning of that flower again on this side, and then click delete, and then just to check to see if that is working and if that repeat is working, I'm going to hold down Alt and Shift to copy that, and you know that's pretty seamless, so that means it's going to be okay to use as a pattern. So this lace is pink, so if I wanted to, like if I was actually going to use this to make a bra, I could dye it and if I was going to dye it, I couldn't make this white because you can't really dye anything lighter, you can only make it darker. So I can think of a colour to use for this. Let's delete that little bit there. And if I was going to recolour this, I'd go onto this little button here and then go on colour overlay. And has anyone got a preference for a colour? Particular colour you'd like to see? I could make it black, make a nice black lace bra with a nice set. And oops, not colour. And you can kind of just go through black lace. I think when you think of like lace lingerie, you quite often think of black. So you can just click on one and then use the arrows up and down just to go through and see what one looks nice. And I mean, black's quite an easy colour, so that one looks okay. So then we've got a black lace. So what I can do now is open libraries, and I'm just going to drag it into libraries, and that just makes it easy to kind of copy it over to Illustrator. So I've got Illustrator open here, and I'm just going to drag that in from the libraries. And let's make that a bit, actually it doesn't need to be bigger. Gonna embed that, and okay, so I need to make sure that this can be a pattern. So I quite like doing my laces as a pattern. Some people like doing it as a brush, so that it can kind of curve. But really the way that lace works is if you're going to be using this on a garment, you can't make it a kind of curved edge. It has a straight line and you have to kind of abide by that straight line. So if it was going to go on the body, it has to be a perfectly straight line. You can't start curving it and manipulating it, really. Even though this is a stretch lace, it's still not really going to work. So I like to kind of make sure I'm designing with that straight line. I just kind of find that as good practice. So I'm just going to select that and then go into Object, Pattern, Make. Okay. And then we can see here, this is what the pattern looks like. And this lace is actually done really well. You can't see the repeat. I mean, you can see a faint little line there. But that's not really massively important, especially if it's going to be on an entire design. So there's quite a quite a small gap between the first repeat and the repeat above. So I'm just going to go on height, hold down shift and just go up a little bit until there's a big line, because that can kind of get quite annoying when you're adding that into a garment. So I think that looks okay, so I'm going to click done. And then we can actually just delete that now. And to check that that's gone through, I'm going to click M just for making a rectangle, and then go on to here, and that will be in your fills, so you can add that as a fill. And so let's add an outline just to show you the actual shape. So as you can see, it's kind of got that into the shape there, but if I move it, it stays with the shape. And if I want to move the pattern but keep the shape the same, I'm gonna click it's called tilde. It basically looks like this, and it's at the top left of your keyboard. So if you hold that down whilst you're moving a shape, it moves the actual pattern rather than the outline shape. So that can be really useful just to make sure you're getting the right angle and just the right area for it. So I'm just going to have a look at the actual lace and see how big it is. So, because I want to keep the same scale, I can't go kind of designing something with a massive lace and then when it comes to actually making something, the lace is tiny and it's not going to work. So let's just judge. It's about the size of a face, let's say. A bit smaller than a face. So I'm going to bring it up to her face and hold down shift and just kind of make it a similar size to her face. I mean, this template isn't kind of massively proportionate. It's a little bit kind of, it's got quite a small waist, it's got this skinny kind of shape to it. It's not massively realistic, but you can kind of make sure the scale's right just to get an idea. A little bit smaller. Okay, that should be okay. So I'm going to get rid of the outline there. And I'm thinking we could kind of make a nice like high apex bra. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to make that a plunge bra. So I'm going to start up here with the pen tool. And let's get rid of that fill and add just a black line for now. And let's just get that wire line in. Shift C and curve this. And again, let me know if you want any other bits, like if you want me to go over any bits, if you weren't sure about how I made this as a pattern, just let me know. I'm happy to go over it as always, just let me know. So let's add the underarm angle. Got quite high. And Shift C to get that curve. And I'm not going to be adding a seam, so I'm not going to be doing like a top cup or anything, because I really want to make the most of doing this lace. So I'm going to make that a darted cup, but I'm going to do that dart in a bit rather than now. So let's make the cradle. Shift Alt down, back up to get that same shape as the wire. Delete that extra line. Use the pen tool to get that nice curve for the underarm. And we can make this like a nice long line bra as well and use the lace there. So I'm going to make that a bit longer. And then I'm going to copy this, copy, join, oh, not group, join again. And so normally when I'm doing the cradle I would start curving, same with the cup, I'd start curving it down, but because it is the lace we need to keep that straight line. I'm not going to be doing that because it won't really work. Oops. Just get a little curve for the strap. And so let's just curve this cradle here. So you really have to start thinking about where the lace is going to go. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna have the lace kind of going down and we have this scalloped edge at the bottom and then at the cup. So that means the underarm's not gonna have that shape and neither is the bridge. So these ones, for example, I can curve this down because that's not affected. So let's go in and add a dart. Actually, let's have it a bit sideways. And then we're going to make that a nice pointed shape. Oh, where did that go? Make sure that's vertical. Okay, so now I can go in and fill this shape in with the lace. I'm just going to kick the eyedropper because I've shaped this and scaled it so it's the correct scale now. And this is obviously very wrong. I need to have this kind of going at the top. So I'm going to click R for rotate and then hold down that tilde button, which allows you to move the shape, and you can see it's just moving the inside. And then I can click V, click that, hold down that tilde button again and just drag it until we get that scalloped edge. And the reason why in the pattern, if I go into it again, the reason why I made this gap here is for this exact reason. So if it was super close, we'd kind of have this shape and then we'd have the next one starting already and it would just kind of get annoying. So this way I find is easier. And let's get that angle nice and perfect. And if you want to just kind of like particularly, you can hold down, just use the arrows, hold the tilde button down until you get a nice shape. And because of the shape of this, I have lost some of the scallops there. So I'm just going to drag it out. And there's no outline on this, so you can kind of make it any shape you want, just to make sure the lace is fitting in there nicely. Just to make sure we've got the shaping of that right. And it does kind of take a little bit of fiddling around until you get it looking right. Okay, and then we've lost that dart and the outlines of everything. So because it's kind of black on black, you're not going to be able to see that. So I'm actually going to change the colour to a lighter grey, just to make a little bit of contrast there. Let's try that. That's still not very visible. Make that a bit lighter. Okay, that should be okay. If we want, we can change that in a bit. And then because this shape, we haven't got an outline on it, because if I were to put an outline, you know, you'd see this line here, so you don't really want that. Oops. But then we have lost this underarm line. One thing that you can do here is just grab that, go down, up, and grab the outline, and just delete this top bit here. Whoops. So then I've got the lace and I've got a separate, just an outline shape, and you can group those together if you want. And I'm going to keep that there. Sometimes I don't do that because I have the elastic, which kind of gives you that line, but I think this looks okay. So I'm just going to copy these two over now. And there's a slight line here. There you go. Sometimes you just have to do something, move the shape, and it will fix itself. Okay, so let's start doing the cradle. And I'm going to want some seaming here. So I'm just going to follow the shape of the actual template. And copy that one over. And then I'm going to go into Pathfinder. And then use Divide. Ungroup, and then we've got 3 separate shapes. So let's just grab the fill from this lace, hold down the tilted button and shift, and then I'm just going to arrow that down until I get it looking nice. And so where we haven't really got any curving going on here, what I can do is, because we've got a seam, we can have this going at a different angle to this middle part. So I'm going to click off and rotate, hold down the tilde button, and just rotate that slightly. So that does give it a little bit of shaping, just to kind of make it look like it's on a body. And I can then just copy that over. And again, we've lost these outlines. So I'm going to go down, back up, and then grab the outline fill or stroke, and just get rid of these bottom bits. Okay, so with here, this bottom bit, the line kind of stops quite abruptly, and I don't really like that, so I'm going to select it. And a similar way that I did the dart, I have that like as a little point. I'm not going to use the same one, but I'm going to use a similar one. I'm going to stroke. And then there's one here that kind of has the little arrows on both ends, so that you can see there's an arrow here and an arrow on here, so it kind of just tapers off and it doesn't look as harsh. So I think that one looks okay. I might actually want to change the outline a little bit lighter because it's quite invisible there. Because you kind of want to see what's going on, if this is going to be made into a real garment. And I can delete this now because I've got these for reference. It's just kind of getting in the way. So let's start with the straps. So let's go in just with the pen tool and draw those in. And obviously the straps aren't going to be made out of lace. So I'm just going to grab, I don't really like going for the blackest black for a fill because it's just so dark and you wouldn't really get a garment that is just literally like that dark. I feel like it just instantly makes things look so fake when you're drawing them. So I like to go for kind of a red tone and just go about there. Which I think, because you can still tell that's black, it's not grey. But it's kind of like, I wouldn't, if I was doing a white garment as well, I wouldn't then go for like the whitest white. Because first of all, you can't see it on the background, and also it's just, you cannot see anything that you're doing, so I'd kind of like to go for a slightly grey, again on the red. It looks really weird compared to the white background, but I feel like once you've got the whole garment, it just looks a bit more realistic. So that's something that I kind of like to do with colours. So I want the same stroke on the outline of this. So I'm going to click on here and that's showing up here. And then if I click on this one again, the strap, it then kind of comes up here. Oh, sorry, I know these buttons are really small for you. And then you can add that stroke in. And wow, that stroke is really thick. So I'm just going to unselect that lace and then bring that down to like 0.5. It looks a bit nicer. Let's copy that over. And I want to add a gradient to this because I'd be using a shine strap. So I'm just going to click the gradient tool. And use the eyedropper and just grab that black that I've got from the other strap. Let's go for linear gradient. So we want one in the very centre. Let's just change that to 50. And make that a little bit lighter. Got a bit of a weird angle going on here. There we go. That, oops, that's quite nice, I think. Maybe that was a bit too light. Let's go in again and just change that. Oops. Okay, so then I can just use the eyedropper and grab that fill, and that'll be the same. And then I'm gonna copy that over to the back, just holding down Alt and Shift, and then I can delete the cups. All of the inside bits, we don't need any of those. And I'm also going to delete the outlines because they're kind of just getting in the way. Oops, not that one. Okay, and I'm going to click minus and just delete these anchor points, or just the one, and then hold down Shift C and just make these straight lines. Okay, and thinking we should make it like a cool little back. So we've got this like fun, nice bit at the front, and we kind of have a boring winged back. Let's do a wing back, but have a little bit of lace coming through. So to do that, I'm just going to make a normal wing first. Let's go, just click C, and I just want this curved edge. Hold down, oh not hold down, click O, hold down Alt, click, copy, join again. I don't want this fill, it's distracting. Hold down Shift C and get a nice curve for the top of the wing. Because this is long line, it's gonna have to be quite a big back actually. I do want this to go a bit out a little bit. Okay, and then let's curve the bottom just up slightly, not too much. And then we can cut that in half, just draw a line, select that, Pathfinder, divide, and ungroup, and then we've got two separate shapes. Oops. And then I want that to be a nice fill. So I'm going to click the strap, which has the gradient, and then go into appearance, click this down, opacity 70, and I'm actually going to make the outline of this darker because as the opacity's gone lighter in the fill, the grey outline is kind of blending in with it, so I'm going to bring that down, and that looks better. So what I kind of want is for the lace just to kind of peep through, maybe like a little angle for it. So I'm just going to copy this, grab the pen tool, and then maybe we can have like, let's just go into shape builder, hold down Alt to kind of get the minus, delete that, and then we can delete this shape here, and then let's just grab the lace, click V, and then hold down the tilde button and just use the arrows. I'm holding down shift as well to be a bit quicker. Grab rotate. I'll try and get these matched up nicely. I quite like that, so I can copy that over to the other side as well. And let's drag these down as well. I'm going to get out the perfect angle, so I'm just going to copy this over. And let's add the hook and eye. And I have one here somewhere. Let's open that up, the stitch library, because I don't want to spend time making one. So I've got a nice hook and eye here. I'm going to use, that's way too big. Scale that down a bit. I don't want to make it kind of like this big to be the same width because this has two hook and eyes. Whereas because this is a long line, it's probably going to need more hook and eyes. So let's say there's 4. I think that scale, let's see, maybe that's still too big. Oops, let's do these at the same time. And then I'm going to double click into here and just make this bigger or longer. The same length as the centre back. And the same with the top. I'm going to ungroup these two and kind of regroup but going in rows rather than like the columns of them being grouped. So I'm going to group these and then I'm going to do the same with these, group them. And then I want them to be like the same distance apart. So I'm going to grab all of them, hold down Alt and Shift, and then drag until the top one meets the bottom, like this. Oh, that's not perfect. There we go. And then I can click Control D. Oh, hang on. That didn't go well. Let's do it again. So, Alt Shift, drag that down until it meets perfectly. And then Control D. And that's going to repeat the last action, and I think 4, so I'm going to change the spacing because these are now doubled over. I'm just going to delete the top layer. Yeah, so that's not great. What I'm going to do is drag that up, select them all, go into properties, and then we have the align tool here. If you click this little options button, we have them that makes the same space apart vertically. So if we click that, then they're all equally spaced. I probably could have done that from the beginning, but oh well. And then I'm going to just bring this line up to the top. Okay. So then I can go ahead and do the same thing with the hooks as I've done with the eyes. So let's just make sure it's the right height. And then clicking A just to grab these bottom points, drag them down. And then we've got 4. And I want to make sure this bottom one is aligned with the bottom of the eyes. So I'm just going to use the pen tool as a kind of measure or ruler. And then I can delete that now. Do we have, oh, we've got 5. Okay, I can't count. Let's add another one. I don't know why these have lost their outline. Oh, I don't know. Okay. And then we can select those and then go the same into align and then same space apart. Oh, the top one isn't aligned with the top of the eyes. So let's do that pen kind of measure again. Okay, I can still see that. Just about. And then select those and equal space apart. Perfect. And I want this whole side below, I want the left hand side below the right. So what I did there, just to be really quick, is Control Shift and then, I don't know what this button's called, it's like a bracket but like squarey. Like this. So if you hold that down with Control Shift, that just like brings everything down to the bottom. And then if you do the one that is like the other way, this way, that will bring everything up. So I like to do that just be really quick, but you can go into layers and just drag them up and down. It's probably a lot easier. And then I can just drag that to the centre back. There. I don't think that even worked to go. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna do that again. So just Control Shift, and then that weird button. I don't know what it's called. There we go. So then we can just go ahead and do the elastic for the wings. So click C for the scissors. Oops. I'm just going to bring that into isolation mode so nothing gets in the way. And then I can delete these. Hold down Alt and just drag that down with Shift. Actually, I'm not going to use Shift. I'm just going to align that to make it look kind of parallel with the top. And then join again. Click I for the eyedropper and grab that strap. And I'm going to click plus to add a new anchor point here, go to minus, delete that, Shift C just to get that a nice angle at the corner, and then I'm going to do the same with the underband elastic. Join again, eyedropper, and then I'm going to click plus, get a new point and just drag that up until it meets nicely. Okay, and then I'm gonna bring that down in the layers to below the wing, and I can select that, unselect the wing and just copy that over. But I do want to make sure this is underneath the other wing, which, oh, it looks like it is anyway. But we want this to be above the hooks, the eyes, those ones. So I'm going to drag that above those, but still underneath the wing. And I can drag this strap down as well, it's too high. And I've just seen that doesn't quite match up properly. You can bring that down and do the same. Oops. There we go. Okay, so we need to add the a ring and a slider for the strap. So I've got that in my little stitch library. Just gonna make sure these are like round about the right scale. And that looks okay. So let's just make sure that slide is in the nice place. And then, oops, what's going on here? Click V and just drag that slider. No, the ring. I can't talk properly today. Bring that down. And then just grab the pen and kind of outline where the straps shouldn't be, where there should be a gap between them. So I've got that selected. Select the strap, go into Shape Builder, hold down the minus and just like that, strike through it. And then I'm going to add an anchor point here, anchor point there, Shift C, curve that in, and then do the same on this one. And just curve that down. And then I can bring that ring down where it needs to be. Where does it need to be? There we go. And that looks really weird in the corner. Oh, not that one. I'm just gonna make that a little bit more curved. I feel like this kind of harsh corner looks a bit weird. Oh, there we go. Okay. So that looks okay. And I'm going to copy that over. I did stitches last week. Do you want me to spend time doing the stitches on here? Would you like me to kind of go over that? I won't go into it as same detail as last week, but let me know if you'd want to see that again. Otherwise, I kind of won't spend the time doing it, but I'm happy to if you want. And I'm gonna do a little thong. Yeah, you'll be good. Okay. So I've got my stitch library here. Let's just grab that zigzag and twin lock stitch. I'm probably gonna need those two. Maybe nothing else. I'll see though. Just get that a nice scale. And again, I want that to be the same colour as the outline. So I've got them all selected and then go into the recolor artwork. And yes, and just drag that down. Oh, no, don't drag that down. Copy it. Go into exact, double click and then paste that number in. Grab the pen tool. Just get around the right kind of length, just curve that down, grab the eyedropper, and that's way too big. It's going to stroke, bring that down to, let's say, 0.2, and that's absolutely tiny. Is that too small? Yeah, let's make it a tiny bit bigger. 2.5. Where do you keep your stitch library? As in, like, how did I make it? Where do I save it? Because I made this one myself. And it, do you mean like, do you want me to like offer this to like, okay. I just keep it, I've kind of got a file just of like standard design stuff, like where I have this template. I think I've got some like basic blocks in there of like bras, but I don't particularly use them. But yeah, this is like just a very simple one. I have got a more in-depth one, but I don't think that's really necessary for these streams. So then I'm going to copy this one over. And what you would have on bras as well, you quite often have, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called like fremulon elastic. It's like a really skinny, clear plastic, like elastic that you'd have like on a neckline. You might have seen it on some of your bras before, and that just helps it to keep its shape. Fremulon, thank you. Fremulon, what is that? I think that's like a TV show or like a company. But yeah, you'd have that on the neckline. So I'm just going to add that in as well. A really small little zigzag. There we go. So it's nice just to have that little detail, and it helps to see how the bra would be made. So again, if you're giving this to a client. And then let's do the underwire. Down, up. Get rid of that top edge. Don't need you. I've just lost that line that I just got. Is that right? Okay, yeah, cool. Bring it up to the top. And then we could grab the twin needle. Oh, did that not want to get it? I'm not sure what's happened with you. Oh, okay. What's happening here? It doesn't seem to want to comply. I don't know why that's gone so weird. Oh, there was 2 lines. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. There we go. Okay. Let's just drag that out to kind of get a nice kind of roundabout shape. Okay, and then grab the scissors and just snip off that little end bit. And because this lace is like semi-see-through, I'm probably going to add in a wire casing as well, because it kind of looks a bit weird that I haven't got one. Because you can kind of see that empty space underneath. So I'm just going to get that outline. Just group them to go into isolation mode, because there's quite a lot going on here. Oops. Okay, and then I'm going to grab the colour of the strap and join again. And that is way too skinny. Let's just make that a little bit bigger. I don't really want the gradient because wire casing is usually quite matte. I'll add a tiny bit on, but not really a lot. There we go. And then I want to bring that, well, I'm going to copy it over first to the other side and then bring that to the back. Okay. Cool. And then let's just add some zigzag to the back here. Just do a roundabout line. You don't need these. Okay, and then let's copy that over. Copy. Do the same for the bottom. And copy that. I haven't selected the whole thing. There we go. Maybe move the whole strap down. There we go. Okay, so let's make like a cute little thong maybe. Yeah, let's do a thong. So I'm gonna grab the pen tool. I'm gonna kind of have it so we have like a little triangle at the front, and then we have a waistband to show off this lace. Like that. Copy that over. Join, join, Shift C. Curve this down for the gusset. I'm not going to do the curving of the front yet, and I actually want to cut this into two different shapes because I want the scalp to go on the edge, and you can't have it connected because it wouldn't kind of work that way. So divide, ungroup. Let's just grab any old lace from here. Click R for rotate and just get a nice rotation there. And then you can also just hold down the tilde button and just drag it, or you can use the arrows. I'm just going to curve this out because it's kind of hiding the lace a bit there. The front cover looks absolutely minuscule. Probably wouldn't cover anything. Let's just make that a bit wider. I really hate when knickers are so small at the front. Don't know who they're made for. There we go. And then I'm going to copy that over. Oops. Transform object, copy. Okay, and then let's get the kind of the waistband done. So we'll have a little curve like this. Gosh, this little toolbar is tiny, isn't it? If that's any better for you to see. Oh, is my face kind of covering it a little bit? There we go. Okay, that's probably better for you. And I want to get rid of this top edge, so I'm going to select all of it, go into Shape Builder, hold down Alt and just delete this top bit, and that will shape it to the waistband. And I'm going to kind of copy from the elastic first, hold down Alt, and that will make sure that both edges go out equally. I'm just going to copy that for later. Join these up, and then use the eyedropper tool to grab that colour for the elastic. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. Sometimes Illustrator does weird things like that. Okay, yeah, watch the recording, that's fine. Thank you for joining anyway. And this is recorded. It will be on there forever, I'll highlight it. And what I'm going to do is kind of have the waistband like almost skirt out a little bit. Just a tiny little bit. So there we go. Let's just copy that side over. Copy. Grab these lines. Join. Join again. Oh, hang on. I did that wrong, didn't I? There we go. Didn't have the right line selected. Okay. And I'm going to need a centre front seam here. So I can have this top edge curved, but the bottom edge, again, it does need to be completely straight. So I'm just going to add in, I'm not going to curve it, so I'm going to add an anchor point in and just bring that down. I can hold down shift, make sure it's going down straight. Let's move these corners down a little bit as well. So let's cut this in half. Let's draw a line just down the middle, and then go into Pathfinder, divide, ungroup, and then we've got two separate shapes. So then we can get this lace in. Okay, and let's copy that over. I feel like this brief is like one of those typical ones, like one of those cheap knickers you'd get from like Primark that would last for like a year and then break. It's just their way of kind of making them as cheap as possible using lace and not really any real fabric. Still, they're cute. This is a cute little brief. Or thong, let's make it a thong. So I'm going to copy that over to the back. There we go. And I can delete one of these sides because I want this to be a straight line. So I'm going to grab the elastic. It's got anchor points in it. Okay, I'm going to click simplify down to, oh yeah, down to 2 points. That's really not letting me, okay. I'm just going to click the minus and delete these points then. There we go. And then hold down Shift C just to make this a nice straight line. And it's kind of going to be similar to, like the back's going to be really similar to the front with the kind of little triangle and then a waistband. So I'm going to do that. Let's start with the waistband. And I can actually make the waistband one piece because it's straight. I don't know if that probably wouldn't happen in industry, I don't know. Depends on what lace it is really. And then I can delete this point as well. How many anchor points are here? There we go. And then let's get the angle right for the lace. And I kind of want this to be quite a skimpy back. So first of all, I'm just going to make sure that this is a nice, it follows the curve upwards for the back. So I'm just going to draw an outline and then just tail off the ends. Get rid of the fill. And then select all of that, and then we can go into Shape Builder. Let's close that. Oh, did I not have that selected? There we go. Shape Builder, and just delete those. And then we can delete that kind of template bit. So I'm kind of going to want this to be pretty much a straight line going up. And you can see that other side of the repeat is coming through. So I'm going to make this a bit smaller then. And then drag the top up as well. Oh, let's delete you for now. Okay. And that's really small at the bottom. That looks okay. Let's copy that over to the other side. Where's that? I've got random points there. There we go. Okay, and let's do the stitching again. So I'm just going to want a singular zigzag going across the elastic band. There we go. Not you. Why did I select that one? Okay. And then there's not really going to be any elastic on the leg line because of the shape of it, but I am going to include that frown again. So let's just do a straight line like that. Grab that little zigzag, and I want that to be underneath the waistband, so I'm just gonna, whoops, there we go, bring that down, and then copy it over, and that one's completely hidden. There we go. And you could add like a little stitch here to hold the waistband down, but because it's kind of like a little skirted waistband, I'm going to leave that so it can kind of just hang free. And then I'm going to do the same zigzag for the waist, for the back, grab that from here, and then again that frenulum. And copy that over, and then bring that down. I'm just holding down Control on that weird squarey bracket thing. Try to learn the name of it. Okay, should we do a little suspender belt as well? Just a really quick one. So I'm just going to start off with the waistband first. Drag that down, and then use the eyedropper tool, grab the strap, and I'm trying to think of what kind of shape. Should we do like little triangles? It's like the ones a lot of people think are bras, and then you see them selling on Depop, and it's actually a suspender belt that they're wearing as a bra. Has anyone seen them? I keep seeing a lot of them. They do kind of look cool. They look cool in a weird way. They're just so wrong. Let's curve that down. How long do we want this little triangle here? Let's have it like that. And then we can draw a line down the middle of here for the seam. And just made a little tail there because sometimes if you don't do that and you use the Pathfinder, it won't think it's a complete like cut through. It will still have these shapes as connected, so it's just a bit more easier just to have a little tail going off. And then and you can see here it's done double. That's because this shape actually had a fill, and it does kind of use the fill for Pathfinder as well. So ungroup, these little corners have gone funny. Just gonna curve those a little bit. Okay. And let's get a nice lace in there. And let's do this one as well. Use the rotate tool. And just grab that. And then because we've lost that seam down the middle, and I kind of want that to be a visible seam so we know where it goes, I'm just going to grab the strap, then get rid of the fill. So then we have that line. And the tip's gone kind of funny, so I'm going to group it, go into isolation mode. And I've kind of not done this super well. I'm actually going to curve these like that, so it doesn't end at such a severe point. It just works a little bit better for the lace because it has got these curves. Okay, and then whilst it's grouped, I'm just going to copy that over. Transform objects, and then ungroup, ungroup. And just do a little strap for the suspender strap, and then copy that over. And because it's kind of going, the brief is kind of getting in the way here, I'm going to select all of that. First of all, I'm just going to group it so it's all together, go into layers, and it's all grouped. I'm just going to make that invisible because it's kind of just getting in the way where it is. Let's give that a nice little curve and do the same, just copy that over. And I'm going to copy this over to the back as well. I'm not going to add rings and sliders on just because I've already done it on the straps. And you can actually have it pretty similar on the back as to the front. I'm kind of going for like a somewhat cheap style for this, so maybe this is something that you'd kind of buy in like Ann Summers or something, like quite a basic set. It's just got these kind of simple little triangles. I might actually change the angle to go a bit more down because it's going a bit outwards. I'm just going to group that all together and go into isolation mode. So first I want these ones to end at this point, and then I'm going to select these, oh, just the lace, and I'm going to rotate both of them at the same time, and that will kind of get them the same, because if I kind of have them in the right kind of shape already, it saves doing them both at the same time. But I am just going to just change them a little bit still. Okay. And then I can go ahead and put that in the right place as well. I think I want the strap to come in a bit more, but curved, so like curves if it was going around a bum kind of shape, but not massively, just a little bit. And I'm not going to do that separately, I'm just going to copy all of that over. Copy, and then I'm going to want a, let's do a swan hook, because again it's going to be this is a cheap set, you wouldn't really use a hook and eye if it's like super cheap and just a little elastic waistband. Put that in there, and then what are we going to want to do? We're going to want to get rid of this part of the elastic, the inside. So I've got that selected, then I'm going to select the waistband, go into shape builder, hold down Alt and then delete the inside, and then bring that swan hook down with the Control Shift rectangular bracket. I need to learn the name of that. I'm going to learn the name of that button. And oops, I just want to curve these corners a little bit, so it looks like it's actually on a shape. Cool. And do Do you know what I've been seeing a lot of kind of high street brands doing recently is having garters rather than wearing stockings, because not a lot of people really wear stockings anymore. So let's have some garters to go with this as well. So it's kind of wearing these for like more of just the aesthetic rather than because you need to wear a suspender belt to go with your stockings. Whoops. I'm just going to copy this one over. Oh, what are you? What did I do there? Okay. Oh, I had the A tool. There we go. Copy this one over. And then I'm just going to copy these garters over to the other side as well. Just use the arrows to bring that down, and then we can kind of bring the brief back in. There it is. And I'm going to bring the brief above. So personally, I would prefer to wear my briefs like over my suspender, just like for practicality wise. I think it's kind of like preference of how people like to wear it, but that's just the way that I like to wear them. So I'm going to bring this brief above. So I'm going to group it first and then bring it up. It's just an easy way to do it. And that's kind of everything. That's the whole look. I mean, again, this is quite like a basic one. Like, this would definitely not be kind of a luxury design. This is quite a fast fashiony one. I think the laces are really good for stuff like that because, like, for example, how I said, like, this is kind of like a Primark brief. You don't need to kind of do anything with the edges. You don't need to do leg line elastic. You know, the edge of the fabric is just completely done for you. You haven't got to overlock it or anything. You know, well, you could literally just do overlock centre front, centre back, put a gusset in, and then do a waistband. It's so easy and so quick. So that's why you kind of find these as a lot of like fast fashion or just cheaper brands. And similar goes for the bra. So like, with the bras are a bit different because obviously you need different sizes, they need to be supportive. If this was just like some small sizes with a little dart, then that could be like a cheap fast fashion. But then if it went up to bigger sizes, and then, you know, bras are a lot more expensive than briefs a lot of the time. But I think all in all, this is a pretty fast fashiony look. But I think it's really cute. I really like it. I love the little bra. I love using lace, but I feel like a lot of people want to design using lace but kind of don't know how to get it in. So it's best to have it in real life so then you can kind of see it and see the scale. But I've actually designed with laces that I've just found pictures online. So like, you can just open up Google and type in like the shop or wherever you want to buy the lace from. They'll quite often have just a flat picture of it, and you can do the same thing. You can just copy and paste it onto Photoshop, just give it a little bit of manipulation, and if you have the scale, it tells you the scale, but that's best because you don't want to be designing with it and then get the scale completely wrong. But you can kind of do this with a lot of fabrics, and the same way with the pattern, you can do prints on here as well. If you want me to do one of like a video showing you how to do prints, I'm happy to do that as well. I think it's more for kind of like swimwear, you'd be using prints or nightwear, but still I think it's a bit scary when you don't know how to do it. But once you do, it's kind of not that difficult. But yeah, I feel like this is a kind of picture you could kind of send that to a factory and they could be able to make that. It does have these strange little lines though. It's got like a seam in the pattern. But like if you move it a little bit, it'll kind of go. But Illustrator just does that. I think it's, I don't know if it's because it's using the... Honestly, I don't know. But it's fine. And then you can kind of bring that into Photoshop and put it onto an actual body if you want, to make it look a bit more realistic. But I hope that was helpful for everyone, and if you like, hope you've learned things from that. Let me know if you have any like questions regarding this. And I haven't got a plan for next week, so you can let me know if you want something specific. Maybe you could just let me know, like, oh, I'd like to see like a bodysuit or like a corset being designed or something. I feel like I'm happy to like take just ideas of what you want to do from now on. And that maybe we can kind of design something together, so you can kind of like give me a brief of what, like maybe a concept or something that we could do. We could kind of make a mood board together or something. Just let me know if you have any ideas, because I feel like it'd be quite fun. We could kind of design a set together. Yeah. And I'm also offering kind of one-to-one lessons as well. Just let me know, message me on Instagram. So if there's bits that you kind of want to go over but you'd rather kind of have an actual lesson, I'm available to do those. And it doesn't have to be lingerie specific as well. If there's other things that you want help with, I am happy to help. So stuff like, I can do like logos and stuff as well, stuff like that. Yeah, just let me know on Instagram. You can just message me. But thank you everyone for joining. I hope this was helpful and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you next week as well. So thank you everyone for joining. Bye. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.